Welcome everyone to a new video. Today, we'll travel into one of the most mysterious, nostalgic, and fascinating universes ever created. A place where the ordinary meets the supernatural, where friendship and fear coexist, and where imagination can open doors to other worlds. Welcome to the world of Stranger Things. Beyond the monsters and the suspense, this story hides countless secrets, behind-the-scenes moments, and little-known curiosities. Today, we'll uncover everything behind the phenomenon that changed television and captivated millions of hearts around the world. It all began in 2014, when two young filmmakers, Matt and Ross Duffer, dreamed of creating a story that would honor the magic of 1980s cinema. They wanted to blend the mystery of Stephen King, the innocence of the Goonies, and the wonder of E.T. The result would become Stranger Things, but getting there wasn't easy. The Duffer brothers sent their idea to more than 15 studios, and every single one rejected it. They were told that a story about children mixed with horror would never work. Some even suggested replacing the kids with adults, but the brothers refused. They believed in their vision, and that determination finally caught the attention of Netflix, which was just beginning to create original content. Casting was another huge challenge. Over 900 children auditioned for the show. The directors wanted real, expressive faces, kids who could make you feel their emotions instantly. Each child performed improvised scenes inspired by E.T. and Stand By Me. And when Millie Bobby Brown appeared in front of the camera, they knew they had found something extraordinary. Millie was only 11 years old. During her audition, she barely said a word. She simply looked at the director, and in that silence, she projected strength, fear, and innocence all at once. That's how 11 was born. To play the role, she had to shave her head completely. Netflix worried about how audiences might react to a bald girl as the main character. But Millie agreed without hesitation. Her mother convinced her with a single sentence. "It's just hair. It will grow back." That courage set the tone for everything that followed. The first season's production was a blend of technique and creativity. The Upside Down wasn't entirely digital. Much of its eerie atmosphere was created with real smoke, LED lights, dust, and fluorescent paint reacting to ultraviolet light. The goal was to make it feel real, like a world that actually existed just beyond our walls. The Duffer brothers wanted Stranger Things to look handcrafted, not like a CGI movie. They wanted it to smell like the 80s, warm, grainy, imperfect. Even the monster, the Demogorgon, was played by an actor in a mechanical suit. Each petal of its head was controlled by servo motors in real time. That mix of man and machine made the creature both terrifying and strangely human. The show's visual identity also had a story. The glowing red title against a black background was inspired by Stephen King book covers and old horror movie posters. The brothers spent weeks choosing the exact tone of red, the rhythm of the flicker, and the music behind it. That opening sequence, now iconic, became the heartbeat of the series, and the music itself was a stroke of genius. Composers Kyle Dixon and Michael Stein used real 1980s synthesizers, not modern software, to recreate that analog sound. Every beat was authentic, every note nostalgic. When "Should I Stay or Should I Go" plays, it's not just a song. It's a message of love and fear, a bond between brothers. The lyrics echo Will's struggle between two worlds, stay or go. Winona Ryder, who played Joyce, improvised many of her most emotional moments. Her exhaustion, her shaking hands, her wild eyes, all real. She refused long breaks between takes so her energy wouldn't drop. Many scenes you see are her genuine reactions to exhaustion and fear. David Harbour, who plays Sheriff Hopper, also built his role from deep emotion. Before filming, he listened to 70s music and imagined Hopper as a man broken by loss, but still driven by a hidden sense of justice. His famous door-breaking scene was shot in one take, no stunt double, and he finished with bruised hands. The kids brought lightness and chaos to the set. Gaten Matarazzo, who plays Dustin, said that most of his funny lines with Steve were improvised. The now famous never-ending story scene started as a joke during a lunch break and became television history. Even the small mistakes were kept in the final cut. Caleb McLaughlin, who plays Lucas, couldn't hit a rock properly with his slingshot, but the director loved it. It made the character feel more real. But the upside down wasn't all fun. Those scenes were physically exhausting. The air was hot, filled with smoke and flashing lights. Millie Bobby Brown said she left every scene covered in dust, sweat, and paint, but that it was worth it because she felt like she was living a real adventure. The fictional town of Hawkins was inspired by real places in North Carolina where the Duffer Brothers grew up. The school, the forest, even the government lab, all based on childhood memories. And that lab was inspired by MKUltra, a real CIA project about mind control experiments. That's what made the story so believable. The horror felt possible, as if any of us could stumble across a hidden gate to another dimension. Each season hid dozens of Easter eggs. The kids' bikes were modeled after E.T. Posters on the walls showed The Thing, Jaws, and Evil Dead. Even the monsters' names, Demogorgon, Mindflayer, came from Dungeons and Dragons. It wasn't random. The brothers wanted to show how imagination helps us make sense of the unknown. When you name the monster, it becomes less terrifying. The cinematography told its own story. Tim Ives used real 80s lenses to give the show that soft, nostalgic glow. Colors had meaning: blue for fear, red for danger, yellow for hope, and green for balance. Every shot was designed to make you feel before you even understood. Even the Christmas lights that Joyce used to communicate with Will had symbolism. That scene was inspired by an old Japanese tale that spirits could communicate through light. Then came Season 2. After worldwide success, expectations were sky high. The brothers decided to go deeper, not bigger. The new monster, the Mindflayer, wasn't just a creature. It was a metaphor for collective trauma, a dark cloud that spreads through emotions. Most of its movements were filmed with real wire-controlled models, then blended with CGI. The goal was to keep that sense of something physical, breathing, and alive. In this season, Eleven's journey becomes more spiritual. Her reunion with Kali, her sister, divided fans, but it showed her growth from rage to identity. Millie said these were her hardest scenes, learning to express emotion without words. She said, "Eleven doesn't need to speak. Her silence screams." Behind the cameras, the cast grew close. The kids played retro games like Pac-Man and Donkey Kong between takes. David Harbour often joined them. It felt like a family, a messy, noisy, creative family. But some scenes were genuinely intense. When Joyce and Hopper find Will trapped by the vines, the set was full of mud and humidity. Winona had a real panic attack. The directors didn't stop filming, and that moment became one of the most powerful in the show. Season 3 brought a new tone, brighter colors, summer vibes, but darker themes. The Star Court Mall was completely real, not CGI. A real mall was rented and rebuilt to look exactly like 1985. Every store, neon sign, and cereal box was authentic. The actors said, filming there felt like time travel. Behind the fun, though, the story turned tragic. Billy's redemption arc became central. Actor Dacre Montgomery kept a diary in character, writing Billy's thoughts and fears. That emotional preparation led to his powerful final scene, the moment he sacrifices himself for 11. The crew filmed it in complete silence, and when the director said cut, many were in tears. One of the sweetest scenes, the snowball dance, was filmed with real music playing. The actors danced to Time After Time by Cyndi Lauper. Finn Wolfhard said it was the most awkward day on set. But that awkwardness made it real. The perfect ending to childhood innocence. Then came Season 4, darker, bigger, and far more emotional. Vecna was brought to life through practical effects, not CGI. Actor Jamie Campbell Bower spent over 7 hours every day in makeup. His suit weighed 30 kilograms. He listened to industrial music while preparing, saying, "Vecna isn't evil, he's pain personified." That stillness, that calm voice, made him more terrifying than any monster before. And then came that scene, Max running from Vecna as Running Up That Hill plays. That moment didn't just save her character, it revived a song from 1985 and made it a global hit again. Kate Bush herself thanked the show publicly, amazed that her song had found new life. Sadie Sink trained for weeks for that scene. She ran with harnesses, wind machines, and dust swirling around her, listening to the song in her headphones to stay in rhythm. The result was pure cinematic magic, a mix of fear, hope, and freedom. Meanwhile, Hopper and Eleven's bond deepened. It evolved into a true father-daughter relationship. David Harbour said that Hopper finally learns love, not control, but care. That's why one of the most touching scenes in the series is Hopper's nervous dinner speech in the cabin. Harbour wrote much of that dialogue himself. He said love isn't about control. It's about letting go while still protecting. During the pandemic, the Duffer Brothers wrote the entire 4th season in isolation. They structured it like a classic epic, inspired by The Lord of the Rings, It, and The Exorcist. Each character would face a reflection of their past. Nancy with guilt, Steve with fear of growing up, Max with grief, and 11 with loss. The Upside Down became more than a monster. It became a mirror of human pain. Now, the 5th and final season is on the horizon. The Duffers have promised it will be the most emotional of all, a true farewell filled with hope. They said, when it ends, we don't want people to think of monsters or powers, but of what it means to grow, to lose, to love, and to keep going. Stranger Things has gone far beyond television. It's become a time capsule, a love letter to friendship, courage, and imagination. A story that reminds us that the real monsters aren't always outside. Sometimes they live within us. And the real heroes? They're the ones who keep fighting, with bicycles, walkie-talkies, and Christmas lights. But there's still more to uncover. Many fans don't know that every creature in Stranger Things was designed with a scientific foundation. The Demogorgon's biology was inspired by real fungi that infect ants and control their behavior. The Mind Flayer's design was based on microscopic nerve cells, symbolizing how fear spreads like electricity through the brain. Even the portals of the Upside Down were modeled after natural cave systems found in Mexico. The special effects team said they used a mix of slime, clay, and digital smoke to make every shot look organic, not synthetic. They wanted the audience to feel the texture, to believe that if they reached out, they could almost touch that other world. The Duffer Brothers also paid deep attention to the psychology of fear. Every jump scare is timed like a heartbeat. Fast, then slow, then sudden. They studied Alfred Hitchcock's rhythm of suspense and applied it frame by frame. That's why Stranger Things doesn't just frighten you. It lingers inside you. It makes you remember the feeling of being a kid in the dark, hearing noises you can't explain. Another secret of the show's success lies in its friendships. The kids' chemistry wasn't just acting. Netflix sent them all to summer camp before filming so they could bond naturally. They played games, told ghost stories, and even created nicknames for each other. When filming started, that connection showed on screen. That's why their friendship feels so real. And let's not forget the impact on popular culture. After Stranger Things, sales of Dungeons & Dragons skyrocketed worldwide. Synthwave music became popular again, and even 80s fashion, colorful shirts, denim jackets, and high-top sneakers returned to stores. The show didn't just entertain, it resurrected an entire era. In interviews, the Duffer Brothers said their goal was never nostalgia for nostalgia's sake. It was about reminding viewers what it feels like to be young, to believe in something bigger than yourself. That's why so many adults connect with the show, because it awakens that part of them that still believes in magic, in mystery, in adventure. There's also a deeper message hidden throughout the series. Stranger Things teaches that pain can create connection, that even the darkest moments can lead to light. Every character who suffers eventually finds strength through others. It's a story about healing, disguised as a story about monsters. And here's something few fans notice. The numbers 11 and 8 weren't random. They represent balance, power and humanity, control and emotion. The creators said that if 11 represents the heart, 8 represents the mind. Together, they complete the human equation. Emotion plus reason equals power with purpose. Even the name Stranger Things was chosen with intention. The Duffers wanted a title that sounded familiar, yet unsettling. Like something you might read on an old paperback found in your attic. The original title was Montauk, after the real-life base that inspired the experiments, but Netflix wanted something broader, something mysterious. Stranger Things won. Because, as they said, life itself is full of stranger things than fiction. Now, as the story approaches its end, fans are filled with theories. Some believe the Upside Down is not another dimension, but a frozen version of Hawkins trapped in time. Others think that Will is still connected to the Mind Flayer and will become the key to the final battle. And a few fans speculate that 11 will have to sacrifice her powers, or even herself, to finally close the gate forever. Whatever the ending, one thing is certain. Stranger Things is not just about horror or nostalgia. It's about the power of friendship, the courage to face fear, and the hope that even in darkness, light always finds a way. Before we finish, remember, in the description you'll find a free PDF with vocabulary, expressions, and exercises inspired by Stranger Things to help you keep practicing your English. Download it. It's completely free, and it'll help you relive the magic while you learn. If you enjoyed this journey into the Upside Down, don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment telling me which movie or series you'd like me to explore next. Until then, keep your lights on, believe in your own power, and never stop believing in the extraordinary.